feel about everything going on in Europe before you were drafted?
How did I feel about it?
Yes, sir. Some people I know believed it was...
I wasn't even aware of what was going on.
I couldn't hear you.
I wasn't aware, I reckon, of what was going on.
I got you. Because I know some people, they thought it should stay in Europe and we shouldn't be involved. That's part of what...
I don't understand you.
Some people believe that, it was a European conflict and America shouldn't have been involved until after Pearl Harbor.
That's what Roosevelt thought. Churchill asked him, he said, take a part in the war, and he said, no.
Right. Did you hold that?
And the next day,
everything changed.
The Japanese attacked.
Right. Now, did you go in before Pearl Harbor or afterwards?
I don't remember.
I got you. I was just, let's see here. Let's see.
Oh, it had to be afterwards.
I got you.
Yeah, I was too young.
You were 19, right? 19 years old when you went in?
When I went in?
Yes, sir.
No. Oh yeah. I was in France on my second. I was on the second day in France on my 20th birthday.
What was that like?
What was it like?
Yes, sir.
Being on the ground.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get my bearing here.
You want me to fill in a little bit or not?
You can, yeah, absolutely.
I think he was 14 when the war started, and they had blackouts. That surprised me. In Highlands, Texas, there were blackouts.
For bombings?
Yeah, they were afraid they were going to be in a submarine in the Gulf hit us. So I was totally surprised they had rationings, and I didn't know that. And then Dad graduated. He got a deferment for a year.
Right.
And then he went in.
Yeah.
And him and my mother were married right before he went
You
in.
had to put blackout curtains on in your house so it didn't light.
That way they didn't get hit by bombs?
Huh?
That way they didn't get hit by bombs?
Yeah, by the bombers. If they attack it, and on the front of your car, your cars then had headlights out on the fenders, and you had to have a shield over that with a little slot in it and a hood over the top so you couldn't see it from above.
Okay.
And
see, I never knew that.
You drove around well, you could see about as far from here to here. When you were driving, you drove slow.
Especially out here back then, huh? Said especially out here back then, because heck, there's no street lights now.
But there was known to be submarines in the Gulf.
Was there?
Yeah.
Around here?
Yeah, we saw one. Remember seeing one, but in reading the book about it, I've seen there were lots of submarines in the Gulf, German submarines in the Gulf.
I wasn't aware of that. Let's see. So when you were in Europe, what was your job in the military and what was your rank as well?
I was a private first class. I carried a gun. I carried M1.
Got you. Did you, as far as conflict going, we don't have to touch on that if you don't want to. Is there any, the major conflicts, where were you at during all of that?
Yeah. I went in there and I went over and assigned to a company, and I was attached to Company E345, 387th, and divisions, and we went. My first combat activity was in the town of Koblenz. Koblenz is a city in the kind of a split between the Rhine River and Moselle River. They come together and split into the North Sea. And the Koblenz is a town up there. And that was...
Did y'all liberate them?
We liberated it.
Yes, sir.
We went in and took it. 3 days in there. We spent 3 days taking Koblenz. And
what was that like doing when you were there in that specific town?
What was it like?
Yes, sir.
Difficult.
I can't imagine that. I'm just sitting there trying to process that. I mean, especially being a kid going over there, and
We,
20 years old, you're still a kid at that point.
yeah, I
You know,
reckon so.
people see all these movies and stuff now, but people that play in the movies are 30, 40 years old. It doesn't give them the understanding that we were sending teenagers over there.
That's right.
I don't think people understand or appreciate the fact that, someone fresh out of high school is going there.
Kids were daring. They would do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You got older, you learn better.
Right. You're a little more careful. Right. Is there, I believe you were telling me a story about a wine cellar.
I'm not sure if that was Koblenz or not, but they went through and they literally cleared out the houses.
Right.
And do you have any stories about when y'all went in and cleared out the houses in Koblenz? And where did you sleep when you were doing that? Y'all were there 3 days. And firing was going on.
Well, okay, I'll start back. We went into the house and went to the house over here. And over this side over here was, in the alley was a street down there. And I was assigned to guard that. And I knelt down there. I heard people walking down the alley behind the house all
Right.
night. It was kind of scary.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
But when the house on the right side,
Right.
went in that house and went in there, and we were chasing the Germans. He was leaving behind the house. And I went to the back door and I was looking out the door out there, and it was a brick door, and a bullet splattered the brick in my face
Oh man.
right there.
So you got real lucky on that one.
Huh?
So you got real lucky on that one.
Yes, I did. I got real lucky on that one. And he missed. He missed enough. He missed that much enough to hit the brick on door faces and spatter the brick in my face.
Daddy, tell them about the Opera House there in Koblenz.
Huh?
Y'all took over the Opera House in Koblenz on the river?
Let me think. Yes, we did. This was later,
Okay.
much later.
And the champagne was in the basement? Is that where the champagne was that y'all found?
Yeah, the Germans was good at digging, and we had two tanks. We had a tank that went with our company, and they had lights, and they pulled up in the back of the house and went down there. Somebody went down in the cellar, found 7 levels down in the cellar. There was under the ground. There was a champagne cellar. Everybody got drunk but 2 guys, me and one other guy. Boy, they put us on truck and they hauled us out to a tree nursery, dumped us in a bunch of 6-foot pine trees. And there's,
That's funny.
yeah, it was fun.
So it wasn't all bad over there the whole time.
Huh?
Said so it wasn't all bad the entire time y'all were over there. Y'all did
I'm sorry.
So it wasn't all bad the entire time y'all were over there. Y'all did have some good times.
Oh, it was fun time. One time.
I mean, you got to
We,
do something or you'll go insane.
And from that point, I'll talk about I crossed the Rhine River. I paddled across the Rhine River.
Right.
And it was at
Beauport.
Beauport. I forgot about that now. I could sit there. And I'm sure, I was thinking about it, there was we had to have an old boat, a squad boat, big wooden boat, behind a big barge is there. I didn't know why, didn't give it a thought, but thought about it later. That was set up. The Seabees had to put that barge in there to get the boats for us to paddle across. And the big boys there and the boats behind that, we had to pick the boat up and carry it down in front of the boards and paddle across the river. I was in the third boat, and we were the first two boats. The river carried them around the bend, and I was in the third boat. And the guy got in that boat. He went straight across the river, boy. Yeah.
So the other ones got took downstream, huh?
Huh?
So the other boats got took downstream?
Well, I got in that boat and we paddled across the river and got out of the bank, and there was a pretty terraced bank, and it must have been about as high as this door, about 20 feet high. Pretty terrace, and a street running right above that, and the street. I got out of there, and I got out on the terrace and laid there waiting for the other two boats that went around the river to come back. They had to come back in order to get the company together. So I laid there on that. And I figured, something's got to happen here pretty soon. It's like, it ain't the place to be.
Right. Out there in the open, right there on the side of the river.
And about that time, the Germans started dropping mortar shells in on the street, and they demolished that house. The street going along here, I was banking over here, and the street is here, and the house over here, and then the river bank. Oh,
sitting right out there in the open, ready.
The Germans dropped mortars on that. They were zeroed in on that street.
Right.
And then saw a mortar fall on the bank side of the river where I was laying. They demolished the houses. That was
right place at the right time to be out of the way.
Yeah, right place at the right time.
So I assume they were pretty accurate with those mortars then, right?
They were very accurate. Yeah.
About how far out were they at that point? How far away were they when they started shooting mortars at y'all?
How far away?
Yes, sir.
It was about a block away.
Oh, so they weren't far at all. They were right there.
That was a church down about a block to my right where I was, and a tower on the church, and a machine gun nest up there, and they were shooting at us. They couldn't see us, but they were shooting.
They knew y'all were there.
They knew we were there, but they couldn't see us. So we were down here, and the bullets was hitting down. So that's part of the story.
Now, was that one thing? Was that during wintertime, or were y'all over there during spring? Was that during wintertime, springtime? About what time was that?
Oh no, this was in. It was probably about April or May. April. The snow was just melting off. Just a few little spots of snow was still on the ground.
So you were laying there. So when you were laying there, it was pretty.
No, it was before that when I got over there. By that time, all the snow was melted away.
Okay, so it was a little warmer.
Yeah, it was decently warm then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When you needed to sleep, where did you sleep there when you were in Beauport?
Where did I sleep when I was in?
When you got in a potato bin to catch a few hours sleep in Beauport?
Yeah, we got across the river, and there was Virginia anti-aircraft going up on top of the bank, out the river bank.
Right.
And we crossed the river, and it saw us coming, so it depressed. It tried to shoot us, but it couldn't depress enough from the bank up there to get down there. So it would hit the trees, and they would hit the branches. Anti-aircraft gun is an active shell.
Right.
And it hit the limbs of the trees, and there would be a fall wall about 20 feet in diameter right above your head. And if you were right under it, you got peppered with little. I seen one guy that was right under one, and his back looked like a sieve, a kitchen sieve, just oozing blood. But we got it. Yeah, but they took off. They hooked up to the anti-aircraft gun on the truck, and they was gone.
Right.
And when we got up there, and there was a Tiger tank. Germans had what they call the Tiger tank. It was a super tank, heavy, big, heavy, and boy, it was muffled down. You couldn't hear. All you could hear it moving around was the squeak of the tread. You could hear it moving. You knew that it was down there where you hear the tread squeaking, but you couldn't hear the engine running. And so we had one trapped behind the hill down there. And finally, we had to go up there and check on him. And he's down in the town fooling around. And artillery observer come, and they had me. I had to go up on the hill and go over the hill and come out, get in the trees and watch him, see what was happening down there. And the artillery observer come the same time I did, and he walked out of the trees in sight, boy.
Right in front of the tank?
Huh?
In front of the tank where they could see him?
Yeah, boy, man, and we all retreated up on top of the hill, and we found it was a solid rock here, and had a hole kind of on the back side of it. We all hunkered down in that hole and spent the night there. And they were shooting at us, and the bullets were ricocheting off the top of the hill.
What did y'all do about it? I mean, were y'all able to disable those tanks, or did y'all just kind of have to move around and work around?
No, they disappeared.
Oh, they left?
We were going this way in the tank.
Okay.
We never saw him again. We never saw the tank again. They didn't know where he went to. We didn't follow him. We were trying to find him.
No, I wouldn't have been following him either. Is that the only tank y'all ran into, or did y'all run into more after that, or?
No, that's the only Tiger tank we ran into.
From what I understood, they didn't have very many of those. You didn't see them real often.
That was the only one I saw.
Right. Let's see here. What is, when you think back to your time there, what is the number one thing to you that stands out in your memory?
Stand out in my memory for what?
Your time over there.
My time over there?
Yes, sir.
I hadn't given it a thought. I have to think about that a little bit.
I understand.
What is that, my time over there?
When you think about when you were over there, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
First thing in mind?
Yes, sir.
Being loaded in Koblenz and spending 3 days in there taking Koblenz. That's the first thing that comes to mind. That's the first thing you did.
I was just curious.
The CBs over there, they had their old boat. They ferried us across the river,
right,
and dumped us off into Koblenz, and we spent 3 days in there taking that. Had to go through every house in there and be verified that it was all clear.
I got you. So let's see here. I'm looking through Miss Judy's notes here. She has some stuff here as well that I wanted to talk with you about. Let's see.
From there, I think they went over to Klin, Germany, and they had the Germans on the run, and Roosevelt gave Berlin to Russia about the time.
You said in Plin, Germany?
Yeah. And then right after that was V-Day, and it's interesting what happened to that after V-Day.
We can talk about that.
What?
What happened after V-Day?
V-Day?
Yes, sir.
What was V-Day?
Where were you on when Hitler went down? Where were you?
Oh, we was on the way to Berlin, and Stalin was the head of the Soviet Union,
right,
and he wanted that. So he put the pressure on to, he shared Berlin with the Allies. They both had a piece of Berlin.
right,
And we were on the way up there, and he didn't want us up there. He denied the trucks to travel about 40 miles south of Berlin up to Berlin. everything that the Allies fed the Berlin people. They had to fly up there.
Airdrop food in?
Huh?
When they were airdropping food in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't airdrop it. They flew it in and landed.
Okay.
And but he would not let the trucks drive on the highway up there on his part of the. He was a rascal.
Oh, yeah.
And when he went down, Japan still hadn't fallen. So you were in Germany and the war was still going on elsewhere. So weren't they sending your division back to go to Japan when you were there in Russia?
Was what?
Weren't they sending your division back after V-Day to send y'all over?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And so y'all went through and liberated some of the...
We was the 3rd Division to leave Europe, and we was going, the first 2 divisions went directly to the Pacific, and our division got a 30-day furlough at home on the way over there. So I was at home, the last 4 days of my furlough, I was at home when they dropped the atomic bomb.
What did you think of that when they dropped those bombs? Because from what I understood, no one.
That ended the whole thing. I mean,
Right.
that was the end of the war as far as the family was concerned. It wiped out that boy. I mean, it was pitiful. Pictures of it wiped that country out.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen some of the pictures from
Yeah, it was bad. You know, so yeah. What it did, and
but it took care of it.
what was that? I can't ever remember that president's name. What is it?
Now you got me not being able to remember.
He had the clothing store. He's the one that had the clothing store. And he became president. And he can't remember it. I forget his name.
I mean, you've been through a lot of different presidents, so.
Yeah. So that was
How did it feel when you came into New York Harbor? I understand y'all walked across Germany and they put you on the Queen Mary to come home for your furlough?
No, we were on the West Point.
The West Point, okay.
Yeah, we went over on the Queen Mary.
So y'all went there on the Queen Mary and came back on the West Point?
Yeah, we went over as replacement troops who was on the Queen Mary, and they carried us over there. And at Le Havre was a port, and it was so many ships up there they couldn't get into the port. So they had to anchor out at the edge of the port, and we had throw a cargo net over the side, and we had to climb down the cargo net into a little amphibious.
Right. Ferry you back and
ferries
forth.
up to the bank. You had to wade off the ramp of that thing to get up on the bank. Then you had to climb a cliff. It was about maybe a little about high as this ceiling again.
Oh, man.
Yeah, up there. Got up on that hedgerow where the machine guns was in the hedges, shooting, trying to keep us down there.
You get some artillery fire in there to get them out, or?
Huh?
Did y'all have artillery fire to try to get them out, or did y'all just?
No, we had to climb out there and root them out. Climb up there and get them out.
But you got it done.
Well, when we got up there, they were going another way too. We chased them.
Oh, so they gave up before y'all got to them.
Oh yeah.
So Miss Judy was telling me that y'all were relief troops, or y'all got sent over as relief right after the Battle of the Bulge. Is that right?
During the Battle of the Bulge, I was in training up at Tyler.
Tyler, Texas? Okay.
That's where I had my basic training at. And then I got a week furlough at home, and we got right on the Queen Mary and shipped us over there. It was assigned to a company. We got off on there and loaded his own truck and drove up through Belgium and across Poland and back, and finally assigned us to company. And the company was resting. They had just attacked, and the Germans had what they called the Siegfried Line, was a big, heavy concrete bunker. And they had on the north side, and our company had just attacked them, got up early one morning and walked up there before the Germans woke up and took that. And the Germans was in the same condition that we were. They was light on troops, so the guard, he'd stand outside the door and watch it.
So they gave in pretty quick at that point.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be back before. Do you have any recollection of, with you being 100 years old, you would have went through the Great Depression and everything?
Of the Great Depression?
Yes, sir. So with you growing up during that time, I mean, did you go through hardships at that time that would have prepared you for going?
Not really. I lived on a farm, and we milked cows. We had about 12 cows of milk, and Mom and Daddy bottled the milk up and delivered it to Highlands, and peddled the milk out to Highlands. And so they had a garden. We had garden. We had plenty to eat. We didn't feel the depression.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't feel the depression. We didn't feel it.
So growing up on the farm, though, probably helped prepare you for going overseas and being able to acclimate yourself to being there.
I did. Yeah, that's right. Well, I reckon I'm just kind of person that does that naturally anyway.
Right. You got to be. Back then, it's the only way to survive back then.
So that's it.
Now, when you got back, once you got out of the military, we were looking at some of the plaques in your rooms. You went and worked for Exxon. What was your transition like from? Okay,
let me tell you, when we got back, we come in a harbor, and we pulled in there, and they pulled into a harbor and unloaded us off, and immediately the Red Cross pumped us full of donuts. And they immediately, the Army was prepared, took us into a good steak dinner right after Red Cross had pumped us full of donuts. I don't respect too much about Red Cross anymore.
So once you got back over here, you came here to Baytown or Highlands, right? Versus going back to Tyler?
When I got back over here, let me think. It not coming real clear to me.
Oh, I understand. Back, you had married Mother right before you left. And so you had married Mother as you left.
Yeah.
So you were probably really happy to see Mother.
And yeah.
And Exxon, you had started working for Exxon as a laborer for a little bit of time out of high school before you went overseas, and Exxon held your job, right?
Yeah, and I went back and hired in Exxon, and the first 2 days they hired other people. And I finally, the third day I told them, I said, "Are you gonna hire me or I'm gonna go somewhere else, get another job?" So they come out and hired me. And they give me credit for all that time, my seniority.
So you had seniority at Exxon because of your time in service.
Well, I give credit for all that. I had 42 years of seniority.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So they treated y'all pretty good.
Exxon treated us real good. Yeah.
And you were a machinist in there, right? In Exxon?
I was several things there. Right. I went through a training program. I went through a 4-year training program there, and I was accredited. Well, you've seen the certificate. and I'm proud of that. That wretched machinist.
That's what Miss Judy was saying, is that you were more proud of that than you were your degree in science.
I'm more proud of that than anything.
Then you did go into the engineering department and retired from after that.
I worked, when I was working there, I was a trainee. I worked 4 to 12s. I worked every machine in the shop.
Right.
And I thought, well, I was a type of guy, when the machine was running and to make a cut, you had to do that, but you sit there. And I'd get the machinist handbook out and I'd read it. And I was kind of interested in a gear, a bevel gear. And I read about how you cut a bevel gear and this and that. So my instructor, the training, he was aware of where I was always reading something like that. So, and I figured I'd never had the opportunity at Exxon to cut a gear. But lo and behold, then he come in one day with a blank somebody already turned out and give me the tool, and I happened to be on a little milling machine, so I got to cut the gear. And that surprised me, that amazed me, yeah.
You got to put your skills to use.
Huh?
So you got to put your skill to use.
Yeah.
I was saying you got to put your skill to use.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes, yeah, I did. I did.
Now, one other thing I did want to bring up is your time after the war, when things like the Korean War and Vietnam broke out. Did you ever have the inclination to want to go and re-enlist?
Nobody had the indication wanted to go to Vietnam. Nobody wanted to go over there. Right. That was the wrong place to be.
Oh, I agree. I was curious about that and how, because those conflicts weren't very far apart.
Yeah.
He stayed in the reserves and was preparing to go to Korea. He was called back in, and we went to Arkansas.
Well, I stayed in the reserves.
Right.
And
I know a lot of people did. That's why I was curious about that. As if did you ever end up going to Korea, or did you stay in the? Did they ever deploy you to Korea, or?
No, they didn't.
They never reactivated.
I forgot. I can't tell you what all.
We went up to basic training in Arkansas, and then the war ended, so he didn't
right.
end up.
Yeah.
But almost.
Almost.
Yeah, Truman was the one that pulled the trigger on it. Yeah.
Korean conflict luckily didn't last very long.
He was a gutsy guy.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's see here. Let me pull this up. Miss Judy has a statement that you have read before. That you have talked about. I believe you said at the American Legion is when he read it the last time?
Actually, I read it. He wrote it.
Okay. Would you like her to read your statement here?
Yeah.
For your ending statement, or would you rather read it?
Yeah, let her read it. Is that a statement? Is something I made? I don't remember.
With the VFW. You want me to just on camera or just read it?
That is completely up to you. If you'd like to go sit next to him, you can, absolutely. If you don't mind.
Okay.
This is a statement that my dad wrote 3 years ago. We're called the greatest generation. We were just young men whose country was threatened, who did what we were called on to do. I do not think we were any more heroic than any other generation before us. We were faced with the threat. We really had no choice but to fight for our country and our family and life as we knew it. As a result, we grew up fast and in a way that we could not have foreseen. In many different ways, the war did affect the way we lived the rest of our lives. You're here because you are a veteran. He was speaking at a VFW.
Right.
and your family or friend is a veteran, and because you are a patriot and you appreciate the freedom and liberty that we have. Even at my age and at your age, I believe that we still have a job to do. We can support patriotism, support the defense of our country, and speak out for the liberties that we have. We can speak up, talk to our families, and take a stand, and we can vote. Sometimes it looks like things are falling apart, and yes, we have seen our country's values trampled. But no matter how it seems, God is in control, and our country was created as a country under God. I trust God, pray to God, and believe God to help our country, and pray this generation to stand up and turn, and that we can once again fully be the nation under God and be a nation that stands for liberty and is patriotic and is willing to take a stand and do what it takes to keep America strong.
Is that right, that?
You wrote that 3 years ago.
I
You
don't
did.
remember.
You sure did. Love you, Dad.
Thank you.
I really do like that. And I agree 100%. But I do have to agree that y'all are definitely the greatest generation. I appreciate y'all's service. I really do.
Thank you.
And everything that y'all went through over there. That what y'all did over there, in my eyes, gives us the opportunity to do what we all do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no doubt in my mind about that. That if
Yeah. Yeah, that was something.
I think being over there, it just, what y'all would have gone through the entire time you're over there, it baffles me.
We come to the point where they knew the war was about over. It was still going on, but it was over. And so my outfit was sent down to this city of Pleun, Pleun, and we sat down on the side of a hill down there and waited 2 weeks for it to really wind up. And
right.
Yeah.
Man. I'm just sitting here thinking about it.
Something kind of funny, to me was funny, and I found out about this later. I didn't observe all this, I knew. But the German army had retreated back into Czechoslovakia. And so when they finally give up, well, they had to surrender that army to somebody, and the general, he wouldn't surrender to anybody else except somebody equal rank. So they had to go get another general come down there so he could come out of Czechoslovakia and do the German army. You know. Some funny things.
Germans.
And what Hitler did, he took the people that get his hold on, the Poles and the Czechs and so, and he put them to labor, and he sent them all over the different places, and we had to collect all those people and get them back home.
All the prisoners of war?
Displaced persons. That was one of the jobs we had to do. Yeah.
Go locate them all?
Huh?
Go locate them all and figure out where they're at and send them home?
Had to locate them all. Get them all.
Man.
And as we collected them, you know, in a camp where each nationality was there. And so we had to guard those people too. While we had them there in the camp where they sent them home, we had to guard them. So that was one of my jobs.
Make sure they didn't get recaptured.
Guarding the displaced persons.
Just trying to make sure they don't get recaptured and nothing happens to them.
Yeah.
Just thinking.
Yeah.
Lost train of thought.
You were aware that they sent the prisoners over here, down here to Florida, and
From Germany?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they sent them over here.
You didn't? Yeah. They had all these ships hauling all the troops over there. They were empty coming back, so they just loaded the prisoners on them, sent them back over here to Texas and down here.
put them on trial here for war crimes?
Right here on the Gulf Coast. Yeah, they had a prison camp down there.
See, I didn't know that.
You did?
No, sir.
Yeah, they did.
I need to read up on that because I didn't know they brought them here. I assumed all of them went on trial there.
Had submarines in there looking at us, and a prison camp down there holding prisoners. It was a kind of a mad camp. A mad camp.
Man, that brings up another question. During the Cold War, what was it like down here with us being right here on the coast? During the Cuban Missile Crisis and all of that.
Scary.
Did they think that we were going to get hit right here where we're at? Or?
Yeah. Russia sent a submarine over here to Cuba, and they finally told him, Jack Kennedy was
right.
president. So get that out of here. And they withdrew it. And that was kind of a scary time.
I mean, that whole time period from about 1930 up was scary back then. And now we're going through some similar things again.
So that's the way it was. That's life, was it?
During the Cold War, I was in elementary.
I was about to say, you should have been around by then.
Yeah, and I remember them doing practice evacuations, and they would have all cars, volunteer cars drive up, and they would take us out toward the bay. And that was going to be what happened if we had a bomb threat here on the Gulf.
I didn't hear what you said.
It's okay.
She said during elementary school they would take them all out in cars and go to the bay to practice drills for if there was.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a kid going through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine being an adult, but being that small and going through all of that. That's terrifying.
Yeah. I reckon the smaller you were, the more terrifying it was. So, anyway.
Before we cut the camera off,
Okay.
is there anything from my generation or generations after mine that you would advise or say to us?
Nah.
No.
Make your own way.
Don't follow everybody?
Make your own way. Do the best you can. Yeah.
That's still good advice.
Huh?
So that's good advice either way. I definitely agree.
Yeah. You can't. You don't need somebody else to do it for you. You got to make your own way.
I agree. 100%. I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me. I really
You're
do.
welcome.
And I appreciate your service.
I
I
don't
want to shake
mind
your hand
talking.
again.